And a very warm welcome to you all, wherever you are, to Lockdown SK, the interactive self-isolation talk show, broadcasting to you live from our micro streaming studio on the beautiful island of Corfu in sunny Greece. Should there be a breakdown in our transmission for whatever reason, please log on to our website at www.StudioKerkyra.com or the video platform that is Vimeo.com, or else good old YouTube and Twitter, and now Twitter's Periscope. And to help and facilitate this broadcast for you today, I'm very pleased to say we have the help of our wonderful producer, Claire Haas, who will be answering all your comments on Facebook Live Messenger and taking those elusive calls on Skype. And please like and follow, share our program if you could, if you like it at the end of the broadcast, of course. And no broadcast would be complete without the irrepressible one and only Mr. Thomas Haas. Hello, Thomas. How are you?
Hi, Adrian. Hello, and hi, everybody out there. Thank you so much for logging on, watching again here, episode 54 of Lockdown. I know it's getting on, and I think, lockdown is easing now, so it's going to be interesting because we got a fully packed program again for you today. And I have to say, thank you so much to everybody out there, because you guys making this program, all the help we are receiving in the last, since we're doing it, and it's getting more and more from you, sending us articles, sending us different things, and it's fantastic. So guys, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts here.
Absolutely.
For doing that and sending in, taking part in this show. So you guys make that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And as we keep reminding you, it's your digital platform, and we absolutely love this two-way exchange of views from all around the world to people here on this wonderful island of Corfu. Just in case you're wondering, it's been a splendid, gorgeous day, as usual on Corfu, with 23 degrees and loads of sunshine and a little less wind, I think, Thomas, don't you?
It is, yeah. And we get a lot of messages in already. So guys, thank you for logging on. If you have anything to say, you want to comment on this program, you want to chat with us, don't hesitate. Go on and send us a comment here right now, or go on to Skype and call us. You can try. It works again, so we fixed that problem. Or send us an email to inbox@StudioKerkyra.com. But here, hello from Jackie Cherry. Hi all, had a lovely couple of hours self-isolating on the beach.
Oh, best place to self-isolate, isn't it? And Corfu is festooned with fabulous beaches. In fact, everywhere you look on the coastline, there's a fabulous beach somewhere.
So
why not?
Well, definitely, everywhere we go. We've been down Halikunas just to see. I mean, it's great. Lorraine Smith from Portsmouth is saying, hi, everybody. We can now take our car for a walk. Keep safe.
Good one, Lorraine. Well done.
Anthony van der Krank is saying, a very good day to all. I hope everybody is okay. Yes, we are.
We're very okay, thank you.
It's great. It's first day I'm wearing the shorts, and I look forward to that. It's a little bit funny, but you know what? Yes, the summer is here. You can say nothing about it.
No.
It's getting warmer and warmer and warmer.
Absolutely. In fact, the sun has taken its hat off, and it's shining brightly on us all here on this wonderful island of Corfu. It's a shame that, unfortunately, you can't be joining us in person. However, we will endeavour to bring the Corfu vibe and spirit and sunshine to you across the internet.
Yeah, and let me say hello to Dom Giddings. He's saying, hello everyone from sunny Bideford. Hope all is safe. Jacqueline Connor is saying, good afternoon. Jerry O.D. is saying, hello from sunny but cold Donegal in Ireland.
Oh.
It comes from Iceland. Brr, the wind at the moment, so we are lucky. Great to be here. Stuart Marin is saying, been released today that there are not been any foreign holidays, might be not be any foreign holidays for this year. What are your take on this, please? And that's one thing what is in our program today.
Exactly.
We're going to extensively talk
You
that
must
through.
be psychic there, because that's one of the main topics we have for you today. Yes.
Yeah, and more. Robert James, Lorraine, can you sail your boat? Cool. This is now answered. And Steve Bowers, hi lads, another day of painting here in Manchester. And Philip Ferris, good afternoon, Claire, Adrian and Thomas. Hello from sunny Port Eleven.
Oh, Port Eleven. Hello, Philip.
Great.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's always good to hear you. One thing, Jerry O.D. there in lovely County Donegal in Ireland, you made a very good point the other day. You raised the question about, did we think that all-inclusives have damaged in some way the island. And actually, yes, we do. And there's a lot of taverners have been adversely affected by all-inclusive. But we also think of another thing, don't we, Thomas? We think that actually in this day of post or still active COVID-19 pandemic, we actually think possibly the all-inclusive hotel is not the ideal place to be spending your holiday. It would be better.
I got a couple of things I'm going to read out in a minute. It's quite, when we talk about it, there's so much news came out today.
Yes,
it just hit us. And thank you everybody out there who sent us emails in. I'm receiving emails in with the stuff, and it really, really helps us of putting the show together and get a little bit of an idea what you guys want to talk about, what you guys are interested, what you guys need more information, and maybe we can make this all a little bit more clear for you. And we're researching constantly. We're constantly onto that. But it's unbelievable what's happened today. It just didn't stop.
Loads of information has come through, particularly in the United Kingdom, a little bit here in Greece. You probably all know this already, but the furlough from the UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, he has announced it to be extended till October, and at the same rate of 80%, which is a bit of a surprise because the pundits and journalists were reckoning he was going to cut it to 60. I'm mentioning it because maybe that has some bearing on other countries in Europe and what they do.
Must be, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, what Matt Hancock, what did Matt Hancock say today?
This morning, he is alleged to have said, I didn't hear it myself, but he's alleged to have said it looks unlikely that people in the United Kingdom will be able to go on a foreign summer holiday. We still don't know officially yet, I don't think, and Boris Johnson keeps promising to tell us about whether it's a 14-day quarantine period for all international arrivals, minus France and the Republic of Ireland, of course, but we don't actually know for sure. But we do have some news from various airlines, and I think you had a point on that subject as well.
Because when I look over now to my thing, Ryanair is to restore 40% of their scheduled flights. So they're saying we're going to restore the season going to start in July. So we're going to offer flights in July. But here what Stuart Merwin meant is it's been released today. Foreign holidays this year, that's not going to take place. So there's a complete disconnect. Ryanair leaves that out. Matt Hancock said, no, there are going to be no foreign holidays this year.
He didn't think,
airlines
he
are
said
getting
he
ready.
thought there wasn't going to be.
But you know what? After
it was a bit woolly.
After the statement from Johnson, he done again is again,
more confusion.
Totally.
Yes. Ryanair said that they intended to restore up to 40% of flights from the 1st of July. That equates, according to them, to 1,000 flights per day, apparently. But they also said that that depends on restrictions being lifted and appropriate safety measures at airports. Up to now, they've been operating, would you believe, 30 flights a day between the UK and the Republic of Ireland and Europe. What you'd have to do with Ryanair is you'd have to check in online, you'd have to bring fewer bags, you'd have to download your boarding pass onto a smartphone, and there'd be no hanging around for the toilet. You'd have to ask permission to go to the toilet, and food and drink services would be strictly limited, so you wouldn't have much choice when it comes to that. On arrival at the airport, you'd have to have your temperature taken, and you'd have to wear a face mask at all times through the terminal and on the plane. All transactions on board would be done by contactless payment, absolutely no cash, and the company, Ryanair, stresses it's got great air filters, and the air would be good, and it was similar to an ICU ward, would you believe? And all interior services are thoroughly disinfected at the end of every flight, or each night, they said, actually. I don't know whether that's the same as every flight, possibly not. But I don't know whether there's crumbs of comfort there, maybe.
But this is from the information on, they're getting ready with their flights. They're going to go, they're going to start. They put all these precautions in place. Matt Hancock is saying they're not going to be summer holiday. Probably
indicating
not. He's indicating to go what, most of the people are thinking now anyway. Because it's just so hard to make a decision what to do. I'm not surprised in their situation now. No, but you can see the communication between them is not working.
Not complete, is it? No. And we're still waiting for guidance from the EU and the European Aviation Authorities. We still haven't got clarity on the arrangements for that. We're still waiting. So the airlines, British Airways, are hoping to, from July, restore about 50% of their flights, if, of course, they get the go-ahead. And we're still a bit up in the air on
Yeah,
that
and then is this with the quarantine. So when you have to go to quarantine, you arrive, you have to go to quarantine for 14 days.
Well, it's still not 100% fixed, but that's
no,
what
but
the indication is.
That's what they're talking about.
Yes,
no?
they are.
That's what. So they're talking extreme scenario, and what will come out in the end is probably a relaxed version of that. That's how I can see it when I look through all these things. So yes, that's the precautions we want to take. That's what we throw in now to the discussion, and let's see how can we streamline that, how can we fit that so everybody is happy. And personally, I think that's the wrong thing to do in that situation.
Yes. There seems to be a large difference of opinion here about maintaining lockdown restrictions and completely easing them, isn't there?
But
it's up in the air on
the
that
people
one
are
as
looking for guidance from the government. And at the moment, what they get is confusion.
Yes,
and that's the only thing they have. So, when they start guiding, when they start, put your name to it. Come on, it's just to make a decision and stick with it and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, on the internet, there was today an apology from someone, who said at the beginning they were not taking that serious, really, because the government wasn't taking it serious. With all the death, and then they got told about the herd immunity. Then they got told about, the people who died is all elderly and vulnerable people. And that's confused them, so they believed their government.
Right.
If they would have done the same as Greece did, we would have saved many lives. And on the bottom she signed, "I'm sorry."
Well, that's good.
So, it's
good of them to admit that they've got it wrong. I wish politicians would do that, don't you? They're always so blooming adamant. And it's very rare of a politician to actually put his head on the parapet and say, "Oh, hands up, I'm sorry, I made a mistake." Not many do that. So we're still a little bit unclear about this. However, Matt Hancock did say one thing which has been reinforced across the UK government, and that is the onus and emphasis put on staycation. There's definitely a mood in the UK government for people to have their holidays in the United Kingdom. But of course, even that's difficult because you can't go to Wales if you're in England at the moment. And we've heard about the good people in Cornwall, very worried about loads of holidaymakers coming down to Cornwall from the rest of England. It's still a bit of a hodgepodge, isn't it? A bit of a mix-up. We just don't know quite where all this is going. One thing we can say is Dr. Fauci in the United States of America clearly said today that if America had only taken the virus more seriously just 2 weeks before it did, an awful lot of lives would have been saved. Thousands, that's what he reckons, yes. And he's very anti-easing lockdown restrictions. But, of course, he's in self-isolation because, as you know, a lot of the White House staff have got the disease. So it just proves the point again. Nobody is immune to this virus. It can cut right across all social classes, sexes, ages, the whole works.
Yeah. So it's now you're right. I'm getting so many messages in, and people are writing exactly what we wanna talk about. And when I just go in here, Margaret Johnson say hi, Anthony saying hi, and Adam James is saying hi from Rock Village, home of happy horses. Yeah. Jerry is saying, I used to DJ in the Calivia bar in Moretica, and this was so busy, and all changed in 2003 when all inclusive really took.
You made that point the other day.
All inclusive when they took off. Yeah. So.
But we were saying, weren't we, earlier today, Thomas, that surely imposing social exclusion is going to be distancing is going to be much harder in an all-inclusive, and maybe if you're able and lucky to come to this island, maybe self-catering or villa apartments might be better, because at least you'll all be together, you'll be able to isolate together, and maybe try your hand at cooking some fabulous local dishes with all the wonderful cuisine and foods and vegetables that are available here, Might be a worth considering that.
Definitely. I mean, we're going to go into that in a minute. I'm getting so many messages in. Nikos Lewis from London is watching. Hi, Nikos and Annabelle. Saying, he said, all-inclusive or spade a bucket holiday are only for countries with beaches in the middle of nowhere or in areas of danger or tourism or crime. Terrorism or crime. There you're safe, obviously. Corfu should be visited and enjoyed in full by enjoying every corner of her and every beauty spot. I like how he said her.
Yes, I was just going to say that too as well. Yes, mind you, they say that about a vehicle. We always call it a her. Well done, Nico. Thank you very much. Illuminating insight.
Yeah, and here David Roseman saying UK government was concerned that companies would serve redundancies to consider with 1st of June, as they have to give 45 days notice, which means an announcement had to be made before 18th of May.
So very astute point, that, David. Thank you for that. Yes, he had to put his get a move on, didn't he? And he has made an announcement. I think the furlough's going on till October now. What surprised me was he's maintaining the rate, because there was a lot of speculation that it was going to be reduced.
Reduced, yeah. But when I just look at the message, guys, thank you so much for sending so many messages today. Silke is saying from Belgium, flights from Belgium are getting ready from beginning of July.
Okay. Thanks for that. We didn't know. Thank you very much indeed for sharing that with us. Belgium has been hit so hard. People tell me that of all the European countries per capita, it's got one of the worst rates.
Yeah, but Anthony is writing in, we can book hotel from the 1st of June here.
Well,
so you see, this is good, but 1st of June. What is with the flights now? Well, Ryanair said it's going to fly from
1st June.
1st of June, yeah. 1st of June, yeah, definitely. So it is possible.
It is, possibly, if they don't impose this restriction, which we still don't know yet. And also, we still haven't got this clear guidance from the EU and the aviation authorities. As far as I know, they're still working out a blueprint.
Yeah, Weike warning, saying hello from Holland. Hi, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, if you want to tell us something you think we should know, just comment here now live and we can talk about it. But it's, when I just read the messages, I can read that there is still confusion going on. Jacqueline Connor is saying,
not the only ones.
Jacqueline is saying, we booked on Ryanair for the 23rd of July, but we think as a family it would be too stressful, especially for children.
I quite agree. It must be, especially having to wear masks. I mean, how are you going to make sure your little children have got masks on at all times? I don't know. It'll be a different world. I think, gone are the carefree holiday days when you just popped on a plane and popped off again. It's not going to be like that. Interesting point that there's so many things you've got to do, like download your boarding passes on a smartphone. Immediate question, what happens if you haven't got a smartphone? That's the first problem.
Yeah, exactly. And this is also assumed what we should do, but we have no regulations in place. Let me go on. I got this here stored when it comes up. Yes, it does. Well, doesn't it? No. Yeah, it comes. Because there is a question now from a viewer out there, guys, is should Airbnb be banned on Corfu?
Jolly good question. We like that one. There's lots of different opinions on this subject, as there is on every subject. I mean, of course, there's a place for a service like Airbnb, but I think the problem is that it proliferated too quickly. Too far, yeah. And we had so many complaints about people in Athens simply couldn't find any accommodation whatsoever. Not talking about holiday, I mean living accommodation, because everybody had rented their thing out on Airbnb. Certainly Airbnb business model has been blown away currently at the moment, and there's going to be huge changes in that service. So frankly, maybe there is a case for it to be curtailed. I mean, we don't like banning things.
No, and this banning is a little bit
but curtailing, maybe measuring it, controlling it,
regulating it in a proper way.
Yes.
For this thing, man, here Christopher saying, with reduced capacity, we should be supporting professional hoteliers, not second homeowners.
Yes.
Hotels will be thoroughly inspected and checked. Airbnb properties are not at all registered and are never checked. Not all Airbnb properties meet basic safety standards, i.e. lack of smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Yep. Hoteliers all pay taxes and tip on their trade to make a living. Yeah. The same can be said for many. The same can't be said for many Airbnb landlords.
Was that Chris who said that?
Yeah.
Chris, you're absolutely bang on the money yet again. That's a very interesting point you've raised, and I'll tell you something. There's something in there that's very personal to Corfu about the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, because you may remember a tragic story on this island a few years back now, when a child died because of failure to detect carbon monoxide poisoning. Since that happened, the authorities came down hard, and it's been great pressure on all hoteliers to make sure these devices are fitted and therefore giving confidence to all the would-be holidaymakers. The fact that Airbnb hasn't been so tightly regulated, hasn't got these smoke and carbon monoxide detectors as a matter of course or legality fitted, really is a serious point, and it begs the question, what else aren't they regulated with? So maybe the answer, rather than a blanket ban, is to manage the situation better, curtail the numbers, and make sure they do adhere. I mean, surely why should an Airbnb property be let off scot-free when a hotelier or other hotel accommodation proprietor has to go through so many legal hoops?
I know.
I think there must be a level, fair playing field here, surely.
Yeah, it shouldn't never be allowed for a platform like that to take over.
No,
We're always missing it.
Yes.
It's always the same story for the last 2 decades of the internet. There's big things coming out, they're taking over, and but they are not new. No. They didn't invent that. No. Something like Airbnb existed before that. It's just evolution.
And a different form. It was a
different form. And at the beginning, it was I swap my home with your home.
That's right.
So you make holiday where I live, I make holiday where you live. So you can explore different points on this beautiful planet. And what is great, and it saves you money. And out of this, slowly, you see the evolution, how it went. And then countries had that regionally, where they signed up. There were little platforms, from the area, done by people who know the area, who know the people.
Good point.
And
yes.
that's a complete different. There it worked. Yeah, so you were able to log in, look at a place you want to go, look in, and you were able to find these little platforms. They died all off since Airbnb. They killed a lot of internet business too, not just physically here.
And of course, the decisions of Airbnb are made in the United States of America, not in the country where the properties are based. So maybe you could say there's a call, for instance, Airbnb properties in the whole of Greece. Maybe they should be managed and administered somehow by some department of the Greek government, the tourism, in association with head office Airbnb back in the United States. I think there is a question mark whether all decisions, what happens in Greece, should be taken in America. I think the decisions need to be made here.
Totally.
In Greece. Yeah.
Of course. And
but they're not up to now. But maybe this might change things. You never know.
You never know. I mean, Tom Giddings is saying holidaymakers already coming down to Devon. Supermarkets are seeing it. That's exactly what we were afraid of.
Yes, indeed it is. And that's what the good Cornish people and obviously the Devonshire people and Devon's such a beautiful county, as of course is Cornwall and Dorset. The whole of the West Country, United Kingdom, is beautiful, almost as beautiful as Corfu. We'll leave you debating that one. But it's a good point. Thank you for that, Tom.
It's a lot coming in here, and that's great. Sarah is saying all-inclusive needs banning. So it's
feeling.
But we spoke about the hoteliers, and with the hoteliers are here, there's also good hoteliers who have all inclusive, man.
Yes, there are. We can't tar everybody with the same brush. But I think the problem with the all-inclusives is that there wasn't a limit. It was just a proliferation. Too many appeared almost overnight. I've heard stories about beaches being collared and becoming private beaches. There's a law that people tell me here in Greece. There's no such thing as a private beach. Every bit of coastline should be accessible at all times to the public. That is supposed to be enshrined in Greek law, especially for Corfu.
Especially for Corfu, definitely.
It's not the case when you have a big all-inclusive that has collared the beach. I know one in an area of Ipsus Barbati area up that way, and a lot of people were very angry about that, and quite right too.
Because there is no private beaches in Greece. It's simple as that. That's the law. That's how it looks. So the access has to be given
shared
anytime. So and shared. And where's the problem? I mean, we have so many beaches here on this island. We are so lucky on Corfu with all the beaches around this island. It's great.
But it's that word again, Thomas, collaboration. That's what we're talking about. Bottom line, if we had a bit more collaboration, the big C word, we'd actually get a lot more positive outcome, I'm sure, to satisfy more people. That we can say that, I think.
Definitely. Here Silke is writing in and saying our Greek friends are confident that they can open their apartments in July and hope for us to come. So our hopes are still up. I mean, our hopes up too. We would love to see that. We would be more than delighted.
Of course, we will welcome you with open arms, and although we're not allowed to hug, but we'll find a way of overcoming that. But possibly to travel, you'd probably have to be ready to have your temperature taken before you leave. Thomas read out the other day a story from a lady traveller from Belgium, funnily enough, to Athens airport, didn't you? And you made a point of saying that every passenger on board was tested when they got here.
They were tested when they got here and brought straight into isolation in a nearby hotel. So this is all paid by the Greek government.
That's
and
good.
There they have to stay, I think, for 7 or 14 days, they said, before they are allowed to travel. But
so maybe the onus is on the traveller then to get tested fully before they leave their country originally. But as we keep reminding everybody, there's nothing
it's
set
nothing,
in stone
don't know what to do.
I mean,
Sarah is writing in a comment saying, I'm in HR. It's chaos with the lack of clarity.
Oh, Sarah, you've hit the nail on there on that one. Absolutely, because hey, guess what? At StudioKerkyra, Lockdown SK, we're almost as confused as you lot. Actually, I think you lot are better informed than we are. I think we actually have slightly more confusion, but it just shows you the welter of different information, even on the same day. You know, if you look at the UK headlines of the newspapers, they're all over the place as well. Really, there seems to be a complete split down the middle about ending prematurely lockdown, and of course air travel is another area of confusion and disagreement, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, it is. And when you look, okay, what is now with the health passport? They said something with the health passport.
Yes.
I haven't heard anything about that anymore.
No.
Now is the regulations with the quarantine, 14 days. So that's not going to work. No. So when now the UK comes here on holiday, maybe they can go through. They get tested quickly. They have the certificate, so they have to do that 72 hours prior to departure. Yeah, and that's it. But when they fly home, what's happened? You end up in the UK again.
Yes.
So do you have to quarantine yourself now for 14 days? Yes or no? And that's totally unclear.
We don't know. And maybe if you're able to do that, maybe you'd be inclined to take another test when you got back as well. Test. Providing, of course, the test kits are reliable with their results. And there's been an awful lot of that in the news just recently. But it does appear that the majority of tests are now slightly more accurate than they were, maybe.
Definitely, and they're saying, it can a test cost you around €200.
Really?
That much? 6 hours, yeah.
Good Lord.
And some probably gonna charge more because it's something else you can make money with now if you're a little bit clever,
Another hidden tax coming.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. No? So it's nice to hear when you hear airports and government saying free test. That's a good one. That's so good.
That's great. Yeah.
We'll have some more of that. Thank you very much indeed.
So anything is free, yes.
We like freebies.
Yeah, totally. But Stuart Maroney is saying, been told by our Greek friends that they are only allowed 8 people in to the restaurant and can only sit outside of the bar if this is outside of bar. If this is so, would it be worthwhile coming for holiday this year?
Very good question.
I mean, if you're constantly in a taverna all your holiday, then probably this wouldn't work because this
the beer's good. We can say that.
Good, but I think yes, it would be because you know what? There's other things. I know it's part of the holiday. We're sitting in a taverna or something, but it is also why not? Have it different. I know I can get the takeaways from there. I know I can get, I can sit there. Then I make a reservation for the table, have the distancing in mind, and they do that. So I think it's just looking different. It's gonna be the new normal. But the views, all the excursions you can still do, it's still worse coming. I think so. Is the sun?
Yes,
it's the sun, is the atmosphere here. Yes. What makes you holiday?
And the people, of course.
The people, definitely.
And the sheer beauty of the place. On the subject of restaurants, tavernas being closed or only available for takeaways, well, look, the takeaway is not the end of the world because consider this: you could have a picnic. Makes a change from sitting around tables in a crowded taverna. Okay, you lose the atmosphere, but I'm sure you'd create your own atmosphere. And as we keep pointing out, there's such a long length of fantastic coastline here that you're never far from the sea when you're on Corfu.
Corfu, that's it. But it really depends what you want from your holiday.
Exactly.
So I mean, you know what? Everybody is different. I love my food.
Of course, I see. I wouldn't have known that. Really.
I see where he's coming from.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
Because that's part of my holiday, going to a nice taverna outside, exploring, having food, relax, meet other people, and that's all seems very restricted and far away from doing. So now it depends what you want as a holiday, what you expect from the holiday. When you say, okay, it doesn't matter for me, these restrictions, I'm okay with that because I still have a good time. Yeah, come. Yeah, if you say now it maybe changes how I see this beautiful island, and I should wait until next year. It's your choice. It's for us here to say that now we are not really affected, are we? So to judge that what is going on in other countries now, it's a little bit hard for us.
It is indeed. And the other viewer made a really good point about the children, because us adults, well, we're supposed to be adults, you know what I mean, we can kind of understand these things much better. I mean, 5 and 4, 6-year-olds, it's very hard to convince them about all these new regulations and all the change. I mean, if they've been coming here year in, year out, and they're, shall we say, 6 or 7 now, they're going to have a hard time psychologically, I would say, dealing with that. It's just not going to be the same. I think that's the one thing we can all agree on. Whatever type of holiday you choose to come to this beautiful holiday island, where it normally is, of Corfu, you've got to be prepared for things to be different. I don't want to say negative, because we can always find a positive from the negative. It's just going to be different. And you've got to plan that and have that in your head, and probably bring a few extra items with you, like face masks and hand sanitizers and stuff like that, common sense, that's the thing you need to bring with you. Definitely. The most important, common sense. And there doesn't seem to be too much of that floating around certain governments at the moment, I would hasten to say. But I'm not suggesting that about Greece, because I think actually, as we keep saying here, Greece was ahead of the curve by banning public events so early on in February, which, of course, has just been reinforced by Dr. Fauci. Whether you like him or loathe him, the man is very intelligent. We can agree on that. And I think he's a steady pair of hands, personally speaking. And he's definitely clear in the mind that America should have shut down 2 weeks before they did. Greece, of course, was ahead of that.
I love that thing. Here from Silke, a message. It's always worth coming to Corfu. I would even come without bars and restaurants open, just to enjoy the beaches, etc., etc.
We agree with that.
We agree with that. Yeah,
you're bang on that one. Well said.
Nikos Luvos is writing in, Airbnb and all other platforms should be regulated.
Yes.
The answer is for all the hotels to create their own platform, renting directly from to the clients through a platform that should be run by the Hoteliers Association. The same goes for all accommodations.
I think, Nico, you've got a brilliant idea there. That's exactly right. And that would overcome so many problems, wouldn't it? And it would create a level, fair playing field. And everybody would know where they stood. So actually, why not? We could look into that, couldn't we? We are trying to hope to speak to someone from the Corfu Hoteliers Association. We're still on that one, so you never know. But that's a very good, intelligent idea, Nico, if I might say.
Definitely, I'm getting more in here. It's Lavinia. Hi, Vinny. She's saying, I think a major problem with Airbnb in Kerkyra Town is student accommodation, which is few and far between for students at the University. Yeah, David saying Airbnb has a disclaimer on its website stating that all persons letting property on their site should comply with local landlords.
Yes.
Wow, I just lose this. It's moving constantly.
But what happens if
local
they don't?
Laws, and it is landlords' responsibility to declare earnings for tax purposes. It seems many local landlords ignore this.
Yes, that's possibly likely. On the subject of regulations, things like that shouldn't be in small print, should be implicit, I would say. But I think, going back to Nico, there does seem to be needs to be some joined up thinking here. Can't just leave these to some giant American, no offence to the Americans, giant American corporation that's a long way away from the actual ground. And Corfu has had the odd tragedy going back in time, and they're very anxious to avoid that happening again, obviously. So, yes, there is a call for what you've just said there.
No, definitely. Let me say hello quickly. Ami Spell is watching. Hi, Ami. It's nice for you to tune in. Patricia Webster is watching. Guys, thank you so much for coming and commenting. And today is really a lot of comments, so I have to see through a little bit. But it's all regarding what we talk anyway. So
absolutely. It's Hiva Ilta Army and all our Finnish friends.
Yeah. Wow. Czechia is a lovely village, to be honest. And Julie Skinner is saying hello from North London. Hi to you. Great.
Love to hear from North London. Great place. Well, I would say that, wouldn't I? Slightly past. Thank you very much for joining the programme. Keep the comments coming. We absolutely love to hear your point of view because, guess what? We're not psychic. So it makes the programme if we know what you're thinking. Brilliant.
So, and Tom Getting saying, talking Americans, Trump had a good day, I see. I don't know, have you, I don't know, I must have missed that.
I thought he had a bad day. The last I heard was he had a bit of a brush with an American-Chinese journalist from CBS. I don't know anything other than that. Apparently he stormed off out. He was not very happy with her question. But I think Dr. Fauci is probably putting the cat amongst the pigeons, as is President Obama. I think he's got more trouble on the horizon with the Michael Flynn business, which isn't anything to do with COVID-19, I know. But they're saying that it's going to be the next few weeks, we're going to be hearing an awful lot about Michael Flynn getting off scot-free from that FBI probe and all the rest of it. I think it's still playing out there. I don't know. I mean, here's a good question that I don't think any journalist has been able to ask the president, Donald Trump. Could you have done things differently? Would you have done things differently? What would his answer to that be? I don't think he'd answer it.
Exactly. Just wanted to, do you think he's giving him an answer?
No,
because I think he wouldn't understand the question. To be honest,
good one.
That's because in his mind, everything he does is perfect, and he knows everything.
Oh, I forgot about that. The perfect call, of course. Yes, he did.
So asking him something like that, he wouldn't understand that.
No. Well, the Americans can get their say in the November elections if they happen. Of course, there is a precedent for elections happening during the middle of a COVID-19 pandemic. South Korea managed to pull it off. So I'm sure that if South Korea can pull off a safe general election, as it were, I'm sure the Americans can do that as well in November. And if not, I'm sure they could find an alternative. Rather than a sitting president that's not exactly elected after November, because actually it would fall. If anything happened to Mike Pence, I'm told, I think it could end up going to Nancy Pelosi, actually.
It could be.
Could be.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
That would be very, very interesting.
But they have more problems in the United States at the moment because people are defying. One of the states just said, we're going to reopen, and now other states are followed that thing. So they relaxed the
New York is
lockdown
showing signs of relaxing. New York have had it really bad. California, there is an argument going on now with Tesla, isn't there, and Elon Musk's company, electric cars there. Alameda County, I think, imposed lockdown restrictions, wouldn't let Elon Musk open up, and he's defying that. He's actually sent workers in. He's made the point that if anyone's going to be arrested, it would be him. But on Twitter, in one of his usual ranting tweets, he has stipulated that he's going to move the headquarters of Tesla away from California and possibly to Texas or Nevada. Unsure about that. Of course, his Shanghai plant in China is currently closed. But he's been very anti-lockdown. He's been Free America Now was his capital letter tweet that he was banging about the other day. I don't know. I mean, you probably know what StudioKerkyra's opinion about lockdown is, and probably hence the name of the show, Lockdown SK. We believe, rightly or wrongly, but we believe human life is the most important thing rather than the economy. And I mean, I don't know how many electric cars he's planning on selling in the next 3 months or so. I wouldn't have thought they would have been flying off the shelf, driving out of the garages that fast, to be honest with you. I mean, everyone's personal economy in their pockets must have been seriously affected. And as for credit ratings and loans, goodness only knows. So I think big ticket capital items, I don't think are going to be particularly showing any great signs of sales just at the moment. The world is heading for a huge recession. We can't avoid that.
Yeah, Patricia Webster is just saying, yes, that's correct. Trump, Pence, Pelosi.
Yes,
that's how the thing goes.
Yeah, well done.
So, but
it's good, Patricia. You're on the other end of the line because you come up with some good comments. Thank you very much indeed.
Great. And I don't know if I said it, but I want to say hello to Julie Skinner. Hello from North London.
You did. You said it again.
I said it again. I like London,
any excuse
mate,
to mention North London
makes
me personally happy.
Yeah, I know.
I know I'm biased, but you know.
North London.
You can only be born once wherever. You can't be born in more than one place, and it just so happened it was North London for me. Yeah, I like North London.
Definitely. I mean, Margaret Johnson is saying Trump would probably not understand the question and make a sarcastic reply anyway. So I think this is spot on.
Good one, Margaret. Hello, welcome aboard. Absolutely right, yes.
And here they just try. Yeah, it's coming up. Great.
Go on,
and David Roseman. Hi, David. Great to see you. It's saying there's need to be there's really a need to be of a rethink on how people book holidays, as you have always been able to book direct with hotels and airlines, but the majority of UK holidaymakers tend to book a package holiday. It's seen as their safe option, and the costs of feeding, watering and entertaining your family is more predictable. So that's a good point.
It is. And of course, David, we all remember that Thomas Cook is sadly no longer with us. And indeed, the company that took over many of the Thomas Cook travel agents in the United Kingdom and a large amount of their staff, I think over 500 employees, that too is in a rocky state, possibly gone into administration. I'm just trying to think of the name. Hayes Travel Services. I think Yorkshire they were based. They've gone as well. So the actual playing field of booking holidays and travel agents is different now.
It's completely. When I think, but my mother, as example, when she books, she always booked package holidays.
Oh, right.
Until she visited Corfu, and she comes to the island for over 20 years every year. And she started now to book direct. She goes to her travel agent, but only for the flight.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah. Right. And that's all she books from there. Over here, she does it direct.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and that's, and that's the way, some work. And she said it's much cheaper booking it that way. Than any other.
Is it?
She had some better deals in there than package holidays.
And if I know your mother like I do, she likes a good deal.
Oh yeah, man.
No she likes a deal. But then, don't we all? To be fair,
of course, yeah.
Yes, of course.
I mean, here quick coming in regarding Trump. And then he said, Trump.
Right, yes. I wonder what you mean. You're on form today, Thomas. Yes,
I know. I was too much into the Oxford idioms last night. But
I
know that there is some funny stuff in there. But the journalist, Lavinia said, the journalist asked a perfectly valid question about COVID-19. And his reply was, ask China.
Yes, that's right.
She took exception to this as she is American of Far East.
That's right.
On the Far East, and challenged him. Whereupon he stormed out. What a brat.
Absolutely. And I think, Vinny, he said, what a nasty question. I think that was another one of his lines, wasn't it? He throws these lines out. I don't want to be anti or negative a particular individual, but I have to say he is the so-called leader of the free world, certainly the largest economy in the West. There is some argument about which is the biggest economy. If you talk to a Chinaman, they will say China. Officially, China has had the number one economy for the last few years. It's just that many people either can't admit it or can't quite get their heads round it. And it certainly is, if it isn't the case that it's the number one economy, I think China is heading that way. But yes, I do think that the President of the United States has to be held accountable. I mean, he is the commander-in-chief, and it is his ultimate responsibility. Or indeed, it would be hers if there was a lady. Maybe, Thomas, time has come for a lady president, but it doesn't look like that's going to be any time soon because, unfortunately, there aren't any leading candidates in the field. And that's something that I personally regret, that the actual choice given to the American electorate is so limited. Mind you, the same could be said in the United Kingdom. There isn't really that amount of choices there for people standing for a public office of such importance. These roles are so vital. And anyone at the top of a company, corporation or organisation always has to carry the can. They take full responsibility. And to storm out of a press conference, well, let's face it, the lady was only asking a question that you or I might ask.
Exactly, is what everybody.
Normal question.
He's just a rude person, and as soon as he doesn't know anything, he walks away or he changes the subject. Shows you straight. Basically, he's dumb.
Well,
when you look at his reaction, basically he's not the brightest spark plug in the car.
No, he's probably very good salesman and very good at clinching deals.
Perfect.
Yes, exactly.
As a salesman, he's extraordinary. There's no question about that.
But
that's his business. That's what he knows all his life, and that's how he built his empire. And that's the problem is he tries to run a country like a business.
Exactly.
And you can't do that. That's impossible. And that's where so many other countries fall down.
And I think there's another area there. I totally agree with what you just said, Thomas. But another thing is he's done something slightly different to previous presidents. He's got rid of all the people that you might expect to be in top positions. And the close cabal of people around him, his close council, if you like, most of them are family members, would you believe? It's hardly a meritocracy. And also there's these persistent rumours that it's a self-enterprise. They're all self-fulfilling, skewing everything they decide is really about their own personal business interests rather than the country as a whole.
Why should they care about others?
Because that's his job.
One, no?
Yeah, but that's his
Trump
job.
First, that was just the thing for America first. No, that's what his first thing he wanted to take. No, first I take America. That's why his slogan America First. No, had nothing to do with the people. Putting
America
the people first.
Again, MAGA
exactly.
Hats,
for him,
yes.
that's his business. He sees America as his business. That's what he meant with the slogan. America first. First I take that, and then I take the rest. I go global.
Yes, okay, but the coronavirus pandemic has kind of put a fly in his ointment there because it's not working out quite like he had anticipated, is it really?
Yeah, man, Jackie Cherry is saying a bit like Boris then. No, and I don't agree. I think Boris is more like him. Boris tries to be more like Trump. That's why they're so good friends.
Yes, I can concur.
No, you're right, Jackie. It's Boris and both of them. You put them both together. You've got a comedy, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't be laughing very much. I think
instead of Big Brother, you have to, Big B. TP.
Okay, we'll leave that up to the imagination of our viewers to work out what those letters stand for. Good one. Let us know at the end of the programme. Please do.
Great thing here from Steve McCabe saying, I got my flight to Corfu on the 1st of July. Right. And it's only cost me £69.
Wow.
Wow, that's great. Thank you for that.
Yes, it is. And thank you, Steve, because that chimes with someone else we heard the other day who said they got a flight here for £60. So, yes, this is surprising, actually, isn't it? Because a few weeks back, I stand to be corrected now, obviously, we were predicting that prices would be shooting up. Mind you, we're talking about just the airline ticket. And when you consider you might have to pay for a test and this, that, and the other, might end up being just expensive in other ways,
Yeah, we're just seeing it. Drive in Austria is €200 for the test, so you have to calculate this €200 per person.
Exactly.
Into that one, That people forget it's per person. So I'm a family with 4. This is €800 gone just on tests, so I can make my holiday.
That would make an enormous difference to the numbers that are going to fly up at those prices, quite frankly. As we say, we just don't know. But we'll let you know as soon as we do know. If anyone knows, that is. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It's a thing. Lavinia writes here. Yes, Adrian, he did. Perhaps I should ask a friend of mine from ABC news journalist in New York to contact you. She is a die-hard Democrat and literally spitting with anger.
Vinny, please do. We'd love to hear from anyone from
Skype.
ABC. Absolutely, yes. Totally. Great. Nice one, Vinny.
It's great. Thanks, guys. It's great. You're getting so many comments in. This is fantastic. Keep them coming. I try really to read everything out I'm getting my hands on. If I forget something, I really, really apologize. I try to catch up with it. But it's fantastic, and people are really passionate about what's going on, and so are we, because we want a clear answer. What's going to happen, how it's going to be. I mean, they just can't each make decisions. And a good point was when they got criticized and said, you know what, you cannot make decisions like that, the government, without talking to the unions first.
Exactly.
And that's something that's so a big disconnect in there.
Yes.
And there, you know what, somehow in my head, I look at that now. It highlights the different pools of corruption within the government.
Maybe.
And you can see that.
And on that subject, that's also evident with the schools debate, isn't it? Boris Johnson announced the intention to open primary schools from the 1st of June. Today, I've been reading about the National Association of Head Teachers, the National Union of Teachers, and local councils are all saying they're very against the idea of opening up primary schools prematurely. So I don't know how that fits. And also Transport for London is also very worried. And the unions in the United Kingdom have been continually warning about safe distance measures not possible in most manufacturing plants. It's very difficult indeed to impose those restrictions at the workplace.
And exactly, and this is the
Yes,
workplace now.
it
I mean,
is.
in tourism is how do you secure this now in a hotel? Okay, I think my personal view is I will probably gonna be safer for holiday, but how you do it in the workplace now? So there's so many unanswered questions.
Far too many unanswered questions. And someone else, a lot of people make this point, Thomas. How would it be that the people are allowed to go back to work? Okay, they walk or they cycle there, so they don't use public transport. But then that means they're mixing with, I won't say strangers, but people they don't really know. But at the same time, they're not allowed to mingle with their own families. I mean,
it's
where's the fairness
thing. You shouldn't visit other family members in other households, but it's okay to go onto the tube and stay next to hundreds of others. And this subway was full in London first day of work, wasn't it?
Not on all lines, but some pictures showed that. I saw a photograph today of the M25 by the Blackwall Tunnel, and it was absolutely heaving with cars. It was a complete gridlock, would you believe? Complete contrast to the last few weeks when the motorway network has been pretty quiet, hasn't it? Remember that lorry driver who was moaning he had to drive 100 miles because he couldn't get a cup of coffee, and most of the petrol service stations were closed on the main motorway network. So
I want to know how this gonna all plan out. It's gonna be But here I got another message from Ella Cella Apartments and Studios. A good solution: book direct with the owner and your flight. We have customers who are doing that all this time, so and say it's much easier. And I believe that, and this is a great one. Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
So book direct. So
as we say, it's just different. I think you've got to think outside the box, as they say. It's just not normal to what you're used to up to now. Coronavirus pandemic has changed just about everything, and we all know that. We're all living examples of that around the world. And also there's always that threat of second waves, which we are starting to see across the globe. China, for instance, second wave coming in Wuhan, and another town nearby in another province just near northeast China, and they're considering, Thomas, locking down Wuhan again. 11 million people.
Margaret Johnson wrote in here and said all Wuhan residents to get COVID-19 tested after a new outbreak.
Yes,
so here we go, second wave.
Margaret. Absolutely, they're very concerned because I think just in the last few hours there's been 17 new cases. China's been reporting no new cases for quite a few weeks, so it's a bit of a shock.
It is.
And South Korea, we keep mentioning that about this one man. Actually, it's probably more than one man, and it's nightclubs in South Korea, and the rate of infection has suddenly increased over the last 3 days. I think I quoted the other day it was 30 or 17, then it went to 30, and now I think it's 150. It's rising, and don't forget there were over 1,500 people in just these 5 nightclubs that had registered to be there. But of course, it could lead to thousands of more infected cases.
Yeah,
and that would be so depressing and disheartening for the South Koreans because they worked so hard to keep it down.
I didn't, to be honest. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, and I said to you, it won't last. Sadly, I have the feeling it won't last. But why should it go away?
No, exactly.
We locked down.
Yeah.
We slowed it down successfully. Now we slowed it successfully down.
Yeah.
And now we're doing something like that and reopen, relaxing.
Well, that's the question. How come those nightclubs were reopened prematurely, and South Korea, as we've just said, has been so good in many ways? I mean, pro rata, with the population size and the numbers of infected cases, South Korea has still maintained a good record on this COVID-19. I think the last count was something like 260 deaths. But for a country the size of South Korea, that's very good indeed. Yeah. Taiwan, Republic of China, has also done very well, as one of our viewers made a comment the other day on Facebook Messenger. You're quite right, Taiwan's done well. They thought the same about Singapore, but as you've heard on Lockdown SK a week or two ago, they've also had a second wave, but mostly because of migrant workers staying in dormitories. India is another country in the news today when they're worried about a second wave. There's been a spike of infected cases, and Russia, would you believe, has now suddenly become the second worst country in the world for sheer numbers of infected cases. So as we keep
It's the
reminding
same,
everybody, we're not out of the woods.
No, definitely not. And when we talk, I'm so eager for the holiday season to start here.
Well, we
all are.
We
because
miss the tourists, don't we?
Exactly.
Of course
it's so
we do.
fantastic. You forge new friendships and so on, and you can, it's just brilliant. And it's for the people here. They
For
need
sure.
that. There's no question. They need a season here. Absolutely. No? And when I go over here now, and just quickly, Nikos is saying £69 to Corfu. That's great. If there is a flight, then. If there's a flight, then great. I bought mine for £49 some time ago for the 10th of April. I rebooked it for the 25th of May. I'm waiting to rebook it now for June and then later in July or maybe August. I hope to be there in September.
Great. So the main thing there, Nico, is as long as you are, that's the important thing, safe and sound, of course. We look forward to seeing you and Annabelle, absolutely.
Definitely. And here, Richard is writing, I'm coming to Corfu next summer now. My flight's been for the next summer. So he has to rebook for next summer already.
Okay. Quite a few people have said that. They're looking at some people were saying they booked for Easter or just after Greek Easter next year. I think a lot of people are deferring till next year, and that has been a prevalent way of thinking now by a lot of people, isn't it? They're not going to take the chance or the risk this season. They'll try and do it next year. But, of course, that doesn't help all the hotel industry here on this island, the hoteliers, the taverna owners and the shopkeepers. They all do so rely on the tourists.
Yeah. And to the question when people ask, okay, what's safer now? Should I rent a villa, self-catering apartment somewhere, or should I go into a hotel? You know what, that's an answer. There's a question to answer. It's very, very hard. It depends what holiday you want to make anyway. But I think anyway, either of these ways you choose, doesn't matter what way, I think it's going to be as safe as it's going to get.
Yes.
And this all depends now on the hotel or the villa owner, how secure they make that for you with social distancing, and if they have, hand sanitizers there, masks there, gloves there. And so, okay, it's going to be a different holiday. But, it depends. I think any way of them is safe. I can't see, that hotel is less safe than a villa. Or a villa is, it's worse for that than a hotel. I don't want to say that because
there's
I think
we
both.
cannot. I can see for and against both. I mean, one thing we should remind everybody that obviously if the hotel is open, we're pretty sure that it's not going to take as many guests as it normally would. So they'll reduce the number of guests in the hotel, which in theory makes it safer. You could also argue that a hotel is more likely to do full-blown disinfection. Can you be sure that a villa that you're renting is going to be fully disinfected after every visit? We can't say that, can we?
Yeah, no, but in the end of the day, you're in a villa there. It's not that hard to grab a bucket and the mop
do
with
it yourself.
and do it yourself.
Absolutely,
but you don't have anybody else around you.
No, that's true.
You're alone. So in a hotel, you still have other people in the same building, on the same pool, sitting around. Exactly. So if you can control it, okay, for this apartment in the hotel, these chairs for the holiday, these sunbeds are yours. Nobody else uses them and they're getting cleaned. If you put rules like that, and I think hotel owners can put a little bit on top of that, not doing exactly what the government says.
No, true.
Do a little bit
go extra mile
to secure that.
Yes, that's a good idea.
When you publicize that, and we're gonna help you there. Don't get me wrong, guys out at the villa. You can sing. We're gonna help you publicizing. It's not a problem.
We're gonna help in some ways,
definitely.
But I doubt if we'll be able to have the time to get down on our knees and scrub your floors. I don't think we'll be able to do that.
What we're doing now to show this off, visit them, have a little bit of filming going on, and show the people how it is, how they sanitize, how safe it is. If it's a hotel or an apartment. They both, I think, when you look at the positive and the negative from both, they're around the same.
Exactly. It's for and against. It really
exactly.
is. You have to. It's down to your personal choice and what your personal circumstances are. Really.
Really.
You have to really think hard here, I think.
It's I'm not a hotel person.
Really.
No, I mean I like that.
Even
it's not
though
all
that
the
you
time.
were brought up in a hotel.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason why. Yeah, maybe.
I enjoy a hotel. Don't get me wrong.
No,
I've got fantastic resorts here, and the Kontokali Bay is example. It's a Kontokali Bay resort is unbelievable. I wouldn't mind that.
It's on Instagram, by the way. Check it out.
Check it out. It's really great. But there are so many others. When you look at the Golden Beach here in Maritica, it's also good because they have little villas up front, so that makes sense again. So you have to look into that.
Yes,
and Yeah, but now I'm more a person. I don't mind. I camp too.
Yes, well, that's
That's
always a
the
good one,
thing.
isn't
It depends
Mm.
what you fancy, what you think,
Yeah.
but you can vary it. But
It can be variable.
variable,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what? For me, is I choose anything. Just to be here on this island. To be honest.
Yes, I think the most important thing is Corfu Island itself and its magic. And it's still got magic, I can tell you, even through COVID-19. It's still here. Beautiful island. You know that. And it will, all being well, still be here when you can eventually get here. I'm touching wood quickly when I say that, but yes,
exactly.
And you'll be guaranteed to get a warm welcome, that I'm sure.
Yeah, but we saying now about English tourism, French, Italian, so does they come down. But don't forget the Eastern countries. They are not as hard affected. And here is Cathy Duckworth is saying Eastern Europe seems to be doing quite well.
That's true. Look at Slovakia's figures.
Exactly, and that could be the tourists for this season here on Corfu.
Well,
so the whole
that's what the Greek tourism minister said just a couple of weeks ago. He was thinking that most of the vacations on Corfu would be from either Eastern Europe or this corridor that they were thinking about creating, coming down from Germany and Austria. People driving here, that's the point, or on coaches maybe, rather than relying on just air travel.
Air travel. I mean,
for this year,
for this year, exactly, man. Craig McMillan is saying still hoping to come in end of September.
Good one. Well, keep hoping. We hope to.
We hope too.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, because we're missing it. We're missing the tourists here. Is no question. But there is it back to that one now. How viable is winter tourism now on Corfu? I think nobody speaks about that.
No, but I think it should be viable.
Nobody is saying anything.
If you can get
until
here.
October. Who puts a date until October? On a holiday island. You know why is there date set? Why don't you have this island open for everybody all year? Because the possibility is here.
Absolutely.
And if you want to go on a holiday, you find your way to get there. And to come from the UK or somewhere else, you fly Athens and Athens here. That's not a hassle at all.
It's not the end of the world, no. I think the quick answer to your point there, Thomas, is that most of the airlines stop their scheduled services to Corfu around about the end of October. EasyJet is usually the first week of November. But as you've just correctly said, you can fly to Athens and then get a wonderful 45-minute flight from Athens Airport to Kerkyra Airport. And believe you me, that's a lovely flight operated by Aegean Airways, which incidentally is a first-rate airline.
Definitely, I like Aegean. Yeah, definitely, very good.
Comfortable seats, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
very
we both like
seats.
that Aegean.
Yeah, we give them a thumbs up, 5-star rating.
Yeah, definitely. And it's great. And for the winter, this island is beautiful year long, and that's not publicized, and that gets us, and that's why we're gonna go through the winter this year too. We don't stop.
And we're going to make one point that we've said many times, but I'm going to ram it home to you now. Winters here on this island, I mean, I can't speak with tremendous experience, but I've got experience for the last 10 years either visiting here or living here, and I can honestly say to you with my hand on my heart that the winter here is not as bad at all.
No,
it's very rarely you get lower than about 4 or 5 plus degrees, not minus. I personally haven't seen any snow, but there is occasionally little bits of snow on the highest peak here. But the weather in December, for instance,
we had barbecues in December.
Yes.
And where do you have that? And you have fantastic villas. They have fireplaces.
Yeah.
Sitting here in the winter, having the fireplace,
I mean, how romantic
having a sea view.
Sea view, open fire, sounds good to me. Yes. And with the airport now being extended, maybe we might be able to get a little bit of winter tourism, providing we've got the support of the locals. And because they've missed out so much,
of course they've missed out. So
they
we
might
have
be
to come
very
up.
pleased. Yes,
yeah, we have to encourage rethinking a little bit and create opportunities. And there's again, and Tom Giddings said it too, collaboration, the word.
And
that's the key word. And if we can all collaborate and push that whole thing along, I mean, it is totally viable. It's not as dark as it looks at the moment. Here, Nicholas is making a good point and saying the other thing is, what about swimming pools, air conditioning, fans? Fans are a danger for the virus because it lifts the dust and up and circulates in the room.
Good point.
That's a good one. But our producer Claire wrote in, I guess that the pool chlorine kills the virus. That's a good point.
Maybe. I've no idea on the answer to that.
I think that's a valuable thing. If anybody knows for a fact if it does that?
But
please let us know. I think the chlorine in there gonna kill.
But somewhere I've been reading more than one place, they were concerned about swimming pools at the early point of this pandemic. That was one area of concern.
Yeah.
And I have heard it said that hotels might be asked to not open the swimming pools.
Yeah.
You've got the sea to bathe
we got
in.
the beach anyway.
Yes,
so
and nowhere's that far from the sea on this island, to be honest.
I think we should not jump to early conclusions.
Exactly.
Let's wait. Take it day by day and see what's happening and prepare. Have your mental prepare. It's nice to prepare for a holiday, and maybe it's gonna be the new
the new normal.
The new normal, and that's also for holidays. And come on, I think a little bit of an adventure is always good.
Oh, absolutely.
You need that in your life.
I think you do, and now you're going to be tested. You probably will need to have that. Bear that in mind.
Great. And I got from the Contact Bay a quick from Lavinia. My friend works there and is still working each day. She is the reservation manager, so constantly canceling, delaying, and rebooking their clients. But a very strange feeling working in an empty hotel where it's normally now
that must
be
be
bustling with
feeling,
people.
Sort of ghost hotel. Yeah, it's not the same, is it?
No, of course it's not the same. No. Well, it's
safety first. That's what I
totally safety first, and that we stay. At the moment, we still stay at home. Not for us here. We are still out, but we allowed out. But for the 18th, we allowed to move. So
properly,
as a media organization, we are allowed to move from the 18th of this month on.
And we will.
And we will. Oh, definitely.
I'll let our viewers and lovely listeners into a little secret. As we are speaking to you now, our wonderful prize Jenny generator is currently being serviced, ready for new use, coming very soon indeed.
A couple of days he's ready, and we're gonna get ready, and then we're gonna come with the show from different locations. Maybe not all the time, but as much as we can.
Yes,
and we allowed, and we're gonna show you some footage. We allowed and out with the cameras, so throughout the day we can take a couple of shots for you to show you what's going on, and then we maybe can mix in a couple of apartments, a couple of villas, a couple of beaches to show you what they really do to make a safe and beautiful holiday here on the lovely island of Corfu for you.
Absolutely. And incidentally, while all our lovely viewers and listeners are there, if you are a villa owner or a hotelier here on this island of Corfu, we'd really like to hear your point of view here.
Yeah.
What do you want, and what would you like to expect from the current season, if there is one? We really would like to hear your views, and then, of course, we can pass them on to all the would-be holidaymakers back in the UK and all around the world.
We made a lot of contacts with different business people here, and we're gonna show that they let us close in and they show what they do as preventive measures for the holiday, and that's great, and that's what you can see then, and then you know what's going on because you can see that with your own eyes.
Absolutely, and you can't beat your own eyes.
No, but let me switch over here quickly because one thing I wanna show, and I thought that's funny. If I find it.
Oh, yes. You showed a video that's very thinking outside the box. I think it was from Ireland, wasn't it? Our lovely people there.
Yes.
Can I say hello to Vivienne if she's watching? It's great to have you back. I know you wrote in yesterday. Good to hear from you, Vivienne. But there's a good outside thinking of the box of how to deal with...
That's the new normal now. That's how the new normal could look like. And that's a hairdresser in Ireland. Have a look at that one. I mean, I think that's so funny.
It's unique, isn't it, almost? And a very simple idea, but it looks quite effective, although you did point something very important out, Thomas, didn't you?
Yeah, I was looking at it, and I thought, oh, it's great. Look, he has the mask. This is a nice shield. He's mobile on little rolls on the bottom. Is great, and he can push this around the chair so he can still cut his hair. But where are the gloves?
Very good point, Thomas. No gloves. I think he may have left them at home there.
So much is
He's
there.
even got a hat on.
That no glove, a face mask, everything.
No.
Plexiglass. The whole construction, I think, is a great design.
It is clever, isn't it? Yes.
But, man, you know what? Where are the gloves?
It's simple, effective, clever. But as you say, no gloves. Maybe he'll think differently tomorrow. Let's hope he puts some gloves on tomorrow. And I think the customer, the client, having their hair cut, would probably feel a little bit better if he did, don't you?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, the last thing I want to mention, because I'm just seeing it, is the Minister of Interior is saying spacing measures for tables and chairs likely to remain until the end of the year. So that's here increased now.
Yeah,
so there's all the measurements, all the social distancing they set up. That's gonna be here for the rest of the year. But at least we know that one, and we can prepare for that. And it's not as bad as it sounds.
No,
I saw that now. We had the coffee outside. Finally, we could go to our favorite place.
Isn't it lovely?
Have a coffee, stay outside.
Exactly.
Distancing from each other.
Of course.
Here 2 meters. We're about here too, easily. No,
6 feet away.
6 feet away.
Yes, I know.
and it was great. And it's still. It was not even a funny feeling, to be honest.
No, but it's nice to be able to do that.
Any
again,
different than before to me.
Not at
I was
all.
just because I just the coffee,
in
chatting
fact,
with you
if
was
anything,
great.
standing is probably better than sitting on a less than completely comfortable chair anyway. So actually, it was fine.
It was great.
It was nice to say hello to some people as they were passing by as well, because that's the other thing. It's been so not social, and it's so nice to get social again. Even if you can't hug and handshake, it doesn't matter. You can do alternatives, but the main thing is you're communicating direct to fellow mankind, and that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, and we enjoyed it, It was still the social distancing. It looks a little bit funny because we all stand so far away from each other.
It does
and
look a bit
we
funny, but
talk, but you know what? It doesn't disturb at all.
The good news is we've got
it's
robust voices, so we can hear of each other, can't we? If we're
definitely. I think we're not lacking in that department.
No. No, I may be lacking in lots of departments, but not that one. No. Although I've got a slight hearing impediment, I have to say. But
sorry.
Oh, good one.
I know. I
nice. I like it. Yeah, 4 marks.
But guys, I have to say it again. I said it 53 times today. I said it 54th, and that's it. That's all we have time for today. I'm so sorry. The hour is over. We had a fantastic participation from you guys. You
Absolutely
are great.
brilliant, yeah.
As I said, you guys making the show with all your comments, what's coming in. It's so fantastic for us to communicate with you, and anything we find out on the news, we gonna let you know, especially when you can come on holiday. You're gonna be finding out so quickly, because as soon as we know, yes, it's going, boom. Even if it's not after the show, we're gonna make a special out of it. Who cares? We have to celebrate that, definitely.
We certainly will.
Until now, guys, it was great to see you. Thanks for taking part. Thanks for sending all your messages. If I forgot anything here to read out, I really, really apologize. I'm gonna have a look after the show anyway and make some notes, and then I'll let that out tomorrow. But for today, thanks for watching, thanks for taking part, have a fantastic evening, and we will be back. So now you got it.
Oh, I can't follow that one. Nice one. As always, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, stay safe, and a very good afternoon to you all.